And we are live with, the funniest number episode 69.
Nice.
Exactly.
Nice.
And we're going to get started. As always, everyone, please reset your hero point pools to 1, except Molly, you still have your birthday point, so make sure you have 2. And we do have Akalupa notes for today, so let's kick them off with those.
Yes. We all said goodbye to the island and the people on it. We cast off on a foggy day, hoping for the best. The fog lowers our battery charging abilities, so we travel half at our normal speed. Ip borrows a book to learn how to read from Mono Inui, and I prick holes in a piece of parchment that I borrowed from Mono Inui for no particular reason, and eventually manage to see funny pictures upside down from it. As we sail, we come to some rocks jutting out of the ocean with what seems to be a person on top of it waving down to us. Or up to us, I guess. We go to pick them up. They seem to be a woman, calling out for help. We come closer. She's green-haired, 12 years, looks to be younger, and very, very sunburned. She says she is kidnapped by the Cocoa Biters. We eventually decide we trust her and pick her up. She is from the east, she says, and has a necklace and a shell. I give her my only extra pair of pants as a sign of goodwill. We get her tea, which she had never had before. She stays with us as we head back east to take her home. We get her a hammock, but she doesn't seem to sleep in it. Day 2 is calmer and drier. The fog finally clears up, and we decide we will sail both day and night. We find a black cat with a notch in their ear and name it Midnight.
Nice. All right, that had most of it, but does anyone want to give the recap and fill in any blank points for an extra hero point?
I don't think my notes have anything more than that. That was pretty darn detailed.
All right.
Well, didn't we find out that she didn't sleep?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Akalupa notes mentioned that.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, she said they got her a hammock, but she doesn't seem to sleep in it. Is what?
Oh, okay.
The notes.
I was half paying attention because at some point when it logged me off last time, I don't know, it left a lot, like all the choices I'd selected on rather than like the ones I ended up finally doing. So I gotta like prune my spell list.
Yep. Yeah,
Anywho.
so Anna, go ahead and give yourself the hero point then, and then just a few things that were missed. During the farewells, Mako was gifted an alchemist set with actual glass pieces from Princess Sunbeam. I guess she's not technically a princess anymore because the queen's got deposed, sort of. Anyway, Sunbeam. And then Akalupu had some groupies who were very sad that he was leaving them all alone and they wouldn't be able to, look at his glorious muscles anymore. And then Sunbeam also asked both Ip, she asked Ip to take care of Burnbright, and then she asked Mako to take care of both Burnbright and Ip. And then I don't think there was anything too interesting for Mono Inui. Agata kind of said farewell and said she would continue trying to research what she could in the crypts, and she'll try to find a way to send you any information if she finds anything. And then let's see. I don't think anything too important got missed. Obviously the big thing was picking up Delphine and, starting to get to know her and the strangeness going on with her. She doesn't seem to want to tell you where she lives. She said that her people are often attacked and that keeping their home a secret is important. And that is the reason she's given you for not telling you where she actually lives beyond just eastward.
And she also mentioned that they have a security golem, so we might be in danger if we go where she lives.
Well, she did say there was a guardian. She didn't specifically say it was a golem because she doesn't even know that Jeannie is a golem either. She just knows that you have some sort of a guardian protecting your island, and she said that they had something similar.
Yeah, so maybe not a good idea to go there.
Yeah, entirely possible. She also said that people like you are. It's not very. It's difficult to be where she lives. So she said you might not want to go there. Y'all's working theory is that it's racism. That is your working theory on the reason behind it, but you did not ask for any clarification beyond that. So
No,
you don't actually know if that's accurate.
All the subtext.
Yeah. Beyond her not sleeping, there were some other interesting things. She doesn't know what soup is. She didn't know what a hammock was. So definitely a little bit weird, whatever is going on with her.
She didn't know what cooking was,
Yeah,
right?
she eats fish raw.
Yeah, she didn't know what cooking was either.
Like Gollum.
Now that one, you guys are literally one generation from being also in that same boat. Like your parents
are the same generation. Excuse me.
Well, I'm talking about everyone who matters. Sorry.
Wow.
Okay, boomer.
Ageism.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know where I was going with that. You deserve it, I guess. But yeah,
Wow.
The previous generation was in the same boat. Like when you guys started, you had not discovered fire or cooking either. That was a thing that you discovered and learned in the previous generation. So that part definitely means that she's from a lower, like she's from a less developed area, presumably. But it wouldn't be that strange. Really. Yeah, I think that more or less catches us up, other than there was a tussle down in the storage area, which turned out to be a cat who had caught a rat. And you guys have named it Midnight. The current day is nice and clear, though very still, so you're glad that you have the propulsion provided by the crystals. Otherwise, you would either be forced to row to make any progress, or you would just be essentially stuck until the wind picked up. And you're making good progress today. You were able to make it a whole square by going both day and night. And it is currently now, the day is wrapping up. One thing, Manawa Nui, I assume during this time, during downtime, you have continued to study the necromancy book. You didn't call it out specifically, but...
Well, yeah.
All right.
It's just a given.
Yeah. So then let's get a will save for the previous night and then one for this evening. Unless there's anything else people want to do with their daytime hours.
There's a reason why I have a +12 and will save.
Yep.
I need it.
As I mentioned last time, Delphine, as she's getting more comfortable with the ship, is going around. She's still very curious about things, asking lots of questions about even both things that are strange, like it's a flying ship, that's not normal, but also things that are more mundane. And she, though, is trying to be as helpful as possible around the ship. And one thing that you all notice, even those of you who might not want to admit it to themselves, Mako, is that as she has recovered from her sunburn and is, eating better and is getting, is recovering her health and starting to smile more, one thing you all notice is that she is the most beautiful person you have ever seen. Like, almost unnaturally so.
This is who?
Delphine.
Me, of course. Come on, guys.
Oh no, Manawa Nui, as attractive as you are, she blows you out of the water without even the slightest contest.
She's gotta go.
Like, she's more attractive than any of the unicorns you've ever met in either human or horse form. And the unicorns were already, like, generally unnaturally attractive. Even in their horse forms, they were uncomfortably sexy, if you remember. Yeah, that's just a thing. She seems to have like a magnetic glow about her. Yeah, let's get those will saves.
I got a 23 and a 24.
All right, nice. So you are actually making surprisingly good progress. You start to feel as though more and more of what you're reading is sticking, because the problem throughout has just been actually being able to get anything you read to stay. So much of it just kind of fades away like a dream, disappearing in the mists of morning. But more and more things seem to be sticking with you after a session with the book. However, the bone, the ossification of your finger, the defleshing, shall we say, of your hand is starting to continue. Now it is not just the tip of your finger where you dipped it into the phylactery by accident. It has spread further, and at this point it is proceeded all the way down your pointer finger to where the entire pointer finger is gone, and it started to move to the next finger over to your middle finger.
Well, that's concerning. Very concerning.
Yes.
I know I had found something out about how to stop it. I don't remember what. I think it has to do with Apoipip getting more powerful healing spells.
Yes. If Apoipip levels up, he can cast one of his spells, or at least could. I don't know if you still have that spell after the rework. I assume you probably do. But he needed to be able to upcast one of his spells in order to be able to cleanse the dark energies that are causing this.
I am also going to be... Can I split my time between that and like trying to maybe figure out what's going on with my hand?
You can, but it is going to pretty significantly decrease your time, because not only are you spending half as much time, you're also having a context switch, so you're going to get less than half as much progress in each thing.
Let's just say if Topple wants to stop by, like, the door's open. I don't know how to like summon him, but like, that's where my headspace is.
Just say Topple's name 3 times in a mirror, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it might work.
I don't have a mirror is the problem.
Bucket of water.
Oh.
All right.
You know what?
Oh. Are you gonna try it?
I am gonna try it. I'm gonna look into a bucket of water. I'm gonna go topple, topple, topple.
All right, and then on the third chant of topple, there's you feel the ground underneath you shaking, and you do exactly that. You topple over head first into the bucket of water, and after a moment of panicked splashing and trying to extricate yourself, you pull the bucket off of your head and find yourself once again in a familiar library, though, as always, it seems to have grown ever so slightly since the last time you were there. And sitting behind the massive carved desk is the hooded figure who haunts your dreams and nightmares.
That was rather unpleasant.
Well, I can't make it too convenient for you to reach out to me like this, otherwise you'll begin to take it for granted, won't you?
Yeah, sure. I'm laid out a bit thick,
Yeah. What brings you here today? Or tonight, whichever it is, in your realm?
Well, the problem... seem to be having a problem with my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that phylactery that we found?
Of course.
Well, if you remember, I had stuck my finger into it,
Yes.
and subsequently, I'm going to take off my glove, that finger had the tip of that finger had turned to bone, but now it seems to be spreading.
Well, I imagine you continue to delve into the dark arts with that book I gave you. Isn't that correct?
Maybe so.
Well, such things cannot be accomplished without sacrifice. I'm afraid that if you intend to continue down your current path, these sorts of things are only going to continue happening to you.
well, I understand that and I can appreciate that, but does it have to be my sacrifice? If you're reading what I'm writing, picking up what I'm putting down.
Oh, indeed. I knew there was a reason I wanted to bring you into the fold. And no, it doesn't necessarily have to be your own sacrifice if you are able to find suitable subjects. That in itself is, could be considered a sacrifice. I suppose that depends on your perspective.
That's helpful. So, we're going to talk about, like, mechanically. Because I don't seem to be doing anything, too drastic. I'm just reading.
Yes. Well, I imagine you've noticed that book is not ordinary. I wouldn't consider it just reading. And he actually does air quotes when he says that.
Well, I suppose what I would be wondering is how do I satiate the demand of payment if considering.
Yeah, if you are looking to make a scapegoat who can take on the sacrifice in your stead, if you are able to find a suitable individual and make a sacrifice of their flesh to the book, it's likely that it would accept it in your stead.
Interesting. Well, till then, there's no way to mitigate the damage. I'm kind of gesture towards my hand.
Yeah. You could stop reading the book. But no,
like,
as I said, such knowledge requires sacrifice.
Well, that's interesting. Oh, while you're here.
Or while you are here.
Well, yes, I suppose. This great mother says she has temples all over the world. How is she one of your kind?
I don't know if you quite comprehend exactly what that means, but at least given my interpretation of your question, no, she is not one of my kind.
It got lost.
Uh-oh.
You can just come in here and use my phone if you want, babe.
Did Abe's phone run out of battery?
My phone died.
I keep telling you to charge that thing before we play.
I thought to be honest, I thought it was plugged in, and then I just saw it sitting there next to the charging cord, which is
Oops. Less than helpful.
You cut off right after the question.
All right, so he said that he doesn't. He's not sure if he quite comprehend the question that you are asking, but at least given his interpretation, no, she is not one of his kind.
Hmm. So what are these temples that she's sending us to?
You'll have to be a bit more specific than that. They are locations. They are certainly some sort of structure, and they are tied to the Great Mother. I don't entirely know what you mean by what are these temples.
Well, in what way are they tied to the Great Mother? Is it sort of like what apparently any bowl of soup or bucket is to you? Or is it like what's going on?
No, the nature of her powers, abilities, whatever you want to call it, are very different from mine.
You said there's more of your kind, but I haven't run into anyone else.
Well, you should count yourself lucky then. If you were to run into another of my kind, you would not find them quite so, well, gracious as I am. Would you like to see some of my kind? Would you like to see my realm?
I'm gonna look around the library. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say. I just assumed you're here all the time, but I'm not gonna say that. But yes, I would.
This sounds like a trap.
I know, right?
So you agree, and at that he rises up once again, like similar to when he showed up in your room, where he just Gandalf style kind of like becomes massive and just absolutely dominates the environment. Except that was in your tiny little house. Now you are in this massive library. And he looks like before he filled the space. Now he's not filling the space, but he's got to be like 3 stories tall. And the entire like aura around him darkens as light is sucked out of the space around you. The golems that are generally tottering around, taking care of, various books and organizing and whatever tasks they're doing. It's never entirely clear. Go skittering off away from the area. And he starts to laugh, not quite manically, but certainly aggressively. And he says, I think it is time that you understand your place in this relationship. You seem to think that I'm here taking advantage of you and that you have some right to particular benefits, but you must understand I am the one with the power here, and you are the one who benefits from my kindness, my generosity, my graciousness. And he reaches down with a hand and scoops you up. Now I will show you what it is that you have been protected from. You constantly argue and complain as I try to protect you from what's around you. But now it is time. And he steps, he takes like 3 steps toward one of the directions. You have no context for what it is, but horizontally. Everything rushes around you as if you were in like a speed, what's it called? I'm blanking. I'm completely missaying it. When you speed up a time lapse, like a time lapse footage where things kind of just zoom around you and like lights stretch out. It's like a time lapse as you move through the library at an impossible speed. And the library is so much more massive than you had even imagined, given where you've been standing. And then you see in front of you a wall of darkness, which you slam into at high speed, and you find the breath knocked out of your lungs as if you had just belly flopped off of the high dive. And Go ahead and give me a will save.
All right, hold on. I gotta go get my dice. Come on. 22.
All right. So you find yourself emerging from the other side of this barrier, and we're going to cut back to everyone else back on the ship.
Wow.
Who was taking the first watch?
I think it would have either been a
I think it was me. I had my time off, time on.
All right, yeah. So yeah, you're on the first watch. You're up in the crow's nest, presumably, or I guess someone had to drive the ship because you were driving overnight. So maybe you're actually back at the helm. And you hear a blood-curdling scream from the captain's cabin, which the ship is small enough that probably woke about everyone up except maybe Junior. I don't know if he sleeps as deeply as his father did.
He's like, it's nothing I haven't heard.
So a blood-curdling scream comes from the captain's cabin.
Time to go check that out. I'm running over there as fast as I can.
All right, so you rush over. The door is closed, and I don't know if you actually. I assume, given Mono Inui's normal predilections, that you've actually put some sort of a latch on so that it can't be opened from the outside unless you take the latch off first.
That is correct.
All right, so the door is locked.
I'll yell, Captain.
All right, no response.
I'll yell a little louder, Captain.
Still no response. Mako Jr., is anyone else headed over there? Burn Bright's definitely making his way over there. And Dolphine, did you just have her staying in the hammock again, or do you want to have invited her over to steer with you?
Wouldn't she still be feigning sleep?
If you told her to, then yes. So
well, she doesn't know that I know that she doesn't sleep, right?
So she doesn't know that
she saw you reading the entire night, so she is aware that you probably she's aware that you watched her. Because there were several times where she noticed you watching her, and she would try to pretend she was sleeping better. But I don't know. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's still trying to play coy. So we'll say that. So anyway, so she would have gone over. Burn Bright would have gone over. Mako Jr., you guys want to head over? There's been enough noise. You'd definitely be woken up at this point.
Junior goes over.
Yeah, I'd be on deck.
All right.
Trying to figure out what's up.
Junior, kick down that door.
All right, strength check. And if anyone wants to assist, they can also roll strength.
I won't be very much help there. I'll let the strong people do their strong things.
All right. Junior has a strength of 4 or +4.
Yeah.
It was just saying loading, so I assume he was trying to pull that up.
Yeah. 19.
All right.
No, wait,
23, baby, because you have +4.
23.
All right. Yeah, it's not super solid or anything. It's not the front gate of a castle or anything. So yeah, you definitely are able to just kick the door open, splintering the latch that is used to hold it closed. And yeah, rushing inside, you can see Mono Anui lying on the ground with blood dripping from her eyes.
Gross.
I'm going to run over and see if she's alive.
So you go over and check for a pulse or breathing or whatever, and Manawanui is definitely alive, but seems to be extremely unconscious. Like if you try to wake her up, shake her, slap her, or whatever, it's not effective.
Mako, some of those healing potions, quick.
Okay, I was kind of stunned, but once I'm like given instructions, I like shake out of it, and go. Do I have healing potions?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Jason has a bunch of heal spells though.
Yeah.
Kind of his thing.
I'm wondering if she needs healing or like.
Would you like to make a Would you like to make a medicine check to figure that out?
Yes.
Okay, I have a medicine check as well, so I want to also roll that to try and
Alrighty.
help.
I just got a nat 20.
Dang.
Well, just for the role-playing aspect of it, I will also roll, and I got an 11. So I'm assisting in this case.
All right. Yeah. So so Manawanui appears to be in more or less perfect health, unless you start like taking off gloves to look at hands, at which point you would definitely notice something strange. Are you examining her that thoroughly?
She took off her glove to talk to Topple, but was that like in the dream realm? So like she didn't actually do it in reality?
She is currently wearing her glove, unless Manawanui, you took it off before you chanted Topple 3 times.
Nah.
Okay. Well, then I don't think that would be at the top of our list of like important things. Like, let's take a look at her hands.
No, and I already know about her hands, and I know I can't do anything about that yet.
You know a little bit. Last time you saw it, it was blackened and like the nail was coming off. You have not seen any of the skeleton stuff, and you don't know that like she can still use her digits despite them being skeletal. So
that's true. I just know something's
have partial
going on
information.
There, so and I know I'm not supposed to tell the other people, so I'm keeping that covered.
All right, cool. But yeah, so Manawanui appears to be in perfect health despite the blood that is still continuing to like slowly drip from the corners of her eyes as if they were like tears of blood. And she is very unconscious but alive. She's breathing. Heartbeat seems fairly steady.
Yeah, so I don't know what I could do here. She seems okay.
I don't know if this matters, but when you say unconscious, like, I don't know, like, are her eyes open or closed? Like, is she in a coma or in a trance,
Her eyes are closed.
Okay.
And behind her eyelids, you do see them moving sometimes, similar to when you're in REM sleep and you have the rapid eye movement.
Right.
It does that. But she is completely unresponsive.
I have a spell called Rousing Splash.
I say give it a shot.
All right, what does that do?
Cause a splash of cold water to descend on an ally's head, granting some temporary vigor.
Oh, maybe that won't work.
I mean, we could just do that with water.
Yeah.
Why do I need a spell for that?
Well, I assume it gives an actual bonus of some kind.
Yeah.
1d4 temporary.
But she doesn't need a bonus. She just needs to be alive.
But yes, you can invigoratingly splash her with a bucket of water, and it does not. Like, if it gets in her mouth, she'll choke on it, but otherwise she's unresponsive.
Guys.
We're like, well,
yeah, I don't know.
See funeral it is now.
We don't care that she's alive. We just, she doesn't say anything, so she's no use to us. Let's just push her off into the ocean.
Yeah, tie a belt to her finger.
Wait, I have a cantrip called Message. I'm going to try and send Manawanui a message using the message spell.
All right.
And see if she can respond.
There's no response.
Damn
Do you have the spell that allows you to like talk to people in their dreams?
Um,
I think it's like a level 2 or a level 1 spell.
talk to people in your dreams.
I don't think that's a cleric spell. I think that's something you could have gotten with at least one of your patron options, though. But yeah, I don't think
it's. I was looking through the spell list, and it's on there. It might be on the arcane one though, and not the.
Yeah, I don't think it's on the cleric list. Yeah, and unless you hid it somewhere, I imagine the big creepy book is out on the little podium where you read it normally.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a thing that nobody cannot notice, is this giant book that appears to be bound in some sort of thick, pale leather. Not saying it's human, but not saying it's not human skin. And then the spine of the book is a literal human spine with a skull at the top.
So just normal stuff then.
And it has like an unpleasant aura. Like even looking at it or getting close to it, it is like.
I mean, it's probably open, right?
Unpleasant. If you wrapped up a session, it would be closed.
Okay.
Like anytime you are not actively reading it, it generally like it'll close itself.
Don't worry about it, guys.
So is it open or closed?
Closed.
Okay.
But anyway, this is the first time most people have seen Mono Inui's super creepy book.
Yeah, I think I am going to go investigate it without touching it though, because like I've been around magic items before, and like you say, it's just given everybody in the room the willies.
Yeah. All right, so you're able to investigate it easily enough, as long as you don't get too close to it. If you do try to touch it or open it, you will need to make a will save, though.
No, I feel like it's pretty reasonable that I would just go like try and like I'm just like looking around the room like what the hell happened?
Yeah, and that's why I bring up the book. Is it is definitely the most suspicious thing in the room right now, other than Mono Inui's unconscious and blood-streaked body.
Right, but we already checked that out, and we're not sure what's happening. We're about ready to like just put him on bed rest and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So I would like to go just kind of like check out the book, but I am not touching it at this time. So is there anything else that I can sense about it? Should I do a roll of some kind?
What information are you looking for that I have not already given? Because I gave like a physical description. It's causing like it has the unpleasant aura. It's unpleasant to look at or be near. Yeah, if there's any other details that you are looking for, just let me know. I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna go scope it out and be like, guys, what's up with this spooky ass book?
Definitely an intense negative magical aura emanating from that.
Yeah, and
could
you
be
would
the cause of Mono Inui's condition.
Yeah, and you would definitely recognize, like, put two and two together, and it is a similar negative energy to what was in her finger when you examined it before.
If either of the other people who know more than Akalupu like think that this is all the cause for what's going on with Mono Inui, Akalupu is 100% going to try to throw that book over. Or burn it.
Well, Frank, Ip definitely did say out loud, like, that could be what's causing the issue. So are you going to, like, head towards it? Because in which case I would like to try and, like, be like, no, don't touch it! Like, and save you from that. But,
yeah, are you, like, walking towards the book?
Well, Akalupu's still trying to figure out, like, how much people think that this is it.
Okay, you're not jumping to conclusions right this second.
But Junior is pretty attached to Mono Inui.
Aw.
All things considered.
I feel like, so has Junior seen the book?
No, you've hidden it from Junior so far, but Junior's not really surprised.
Right. Junior has seen some things. Not this book, but
Disappointed, but
he's
not
seen some
surprised.
things.
I would like to cast Detect Magic, not on the book, but on Manawa Nui herself.
All right. So doing so, Mononui is wearing some magical items, but as she is not currently channeling any magic, there's no magic coming directly from her. Now, of course, Reginald, you'll you notice, it's like, I don't know. Do you have like a little stand that Reginald sits on or something? So
He's just chilling.
Yeah, so Reginald definitely flopped down. Even when you walked in, I didn't bring it up because I didn't think about it, but Reginald was there and was like standing over Mononui, and however birds look concerned. It wasn't picking her eyeballs out or anything.
That's why the blood is there.
But no, it was not picking your eyeballs out or anything. One thing you've noticed is Reginald has always been pure white and albino. Reginald now has a series of glyphs or runes or letters or something along those lines that are spread out across its body. They glow a dim orange with a dark outline, very shadowy, and they seem to shift and move as you look at them, always escaping proper observation. And Reginald definitely has magic coming off of him.
Huh. What has Manawa Nui got herself into this time? Well, that doesn't help, because that means I can't do like a magical healing spell on her.
Yeah, in fact, if you can channel positive energy to do a heal, and it doesn't make any difference. Mononui, like, there's nothing to heal as far as you can tell. It's not injury, it's not disease.
Well, guys, if no one else has any better ideas, I'm going to throw the book overboard. Or at least move it to the other side of the ship and get it away from.
My only concern is that the information we need to heal what has happened could be in that book.
That's what I'm thinking, moving it to the other side of the ship. See if anything changes.
That's a good start, but one of us may have to look in there to see if we can figure out what happened. But I think that's a good idea. Get her away from the book and see if that helps.
Yeah. Should I move?
Wait, before you do that, I am going to cast a spell on you to help, called Shield. No, it's called Shield Other.
That's the one that reduces the 3 damage goes to you instead of to the target.
Half damage.
Half damage. Okay.
It's just gonna be a boat full of unconscious people.
All right, so Junior, you are.
How do you fly this thing?
Actually, Patholopo is thinking, is there any reason we should move? We shouldn't just move Mono Inui instead of the book.
Mono Inui's room.
As far as you can tell, Mono Inui is in perfect health, and moving her, there's no reason to believe that it would cause her injury, at least physically.
Yeah, Junior's just gonna say, yeah, because I am 100% willing to move the book if that's what we need to do, but I've been around Mono Inui's stuff, and the headache from touching her stuff is often not worth it. Especially considering that Akalupu does not have the best
will save
saves for will.
Yeah. That is probably wise to not try to mess with that book as Akalupu. All right, so you are easily able to lift Manawanui. Manawanui is a slight figure as it is, and Akalupu is a giant of a man. So it is easy to lift her up and move her elsewhere on the ship. Are you just moving her down to like the hammocks with everyone else?
Just like as far away from the book as possible on the ship.
Just
All
have a
right.
monitor to roll forward.
That would put you probably in the storage area then. Like below deck, front of the ship, there's some space up there, between barrels and stuff that you could move around.
Yeah. That's where Junior's taking Manawanui.
All right. So Manawanui is moved. Is anyone who is still in Manawanui's room? Are you looking into anything else? Poking through her drawers and cabinets? Opening the book? Are you doing anything else?
I'm very tempted to look at that book, but I think I'm gonna hold off until we have the results of experiment number 1.
We talk to the bird?
You can try. If you have any ability to speak with animals, you can. Otherwise, Reginald is definitely intelligent enough to be able to relay some information, but only if you're able to speak with him.
I don't think I do have that.
He only bird squawks. He's not like a parrot or anything.
I don't know, Jason. What do we do?
Let's go see how Manawanui is doing on the other side of the ship.
Yeah, she might get better on her own.
All right, so you guys follow Akalupu down through the ship, and what, you're gonna just watch Manawanui for 15 minutes, or what's the plan?
Maybe we should take shifts. Maybe we should make a plan to take shifts, staying with her and watching her.
Well, someone has to go back to the helm and steer the ship.
Yeah, because no one has been steering the ship this entire time. Which may or may not, put you off course a bit.
Okay. I will go steer the ship, because that's my job during the daytime, and I'm awake now.
Right.
So I'm in for that.
Well, it's nighttime, isn't it?
Yes, it is still currently nighttime. It was during the first watch.
Sleep now.
Right, but
Yeah, we
shit's
were
just
done.
we are
Okay,
in an emergency
that's right.
situation.
Yeah.
All hands on deck, for sure.
All right, so Mako, you're watching. Ip, do you want to keep an eye on Manawanui? You read your book while you're at it?
Yeah, I'll hang out there for a few minutes, but if nothing happens, my curiosity is going to get the better of me. Go investigate the room a little bit more.
All right. So, Junior, are you going to stay by her side?
Yes.
All right. So, Junior stays there. And yes, after, 15 minutes, nothing. 30 minutes, nothing. However long you're going to wait.
Yeah, after 30 minutes, I'm officially like, okay, what's going on here? This isn't helping. I'm going to go look for some more clues in the room.
All right. So, yeah, you're back in the room. The big book on the pedestal is definitely still the most obvious and suspicious thing in here. Otherwise, it's the luggage that Manawanui brought with her. There are a number of different containers. It's clear there's I don't know, would you have, well, I don't think you know how to make locks. So there's some various containers that are at least have lids. Maybe they're tied closed to make them a little bit safer.
Tied closed or something like that.
Yeah, however you would have sealed things. Where would you have put the phylactery?
The phylactery. Let me remind myself what it was. It was a chalice.
Yes,
and it was in.
It's a large chalice that you would have to hold with two hands, and the stem of the chalice and the base of the chalice are made of blades.
And it doesn't spill, right?
No. No matter what angle you've put it at, it doesn't spill. It never overflows. It's just always perfectly full all the way up to the top.
And it was no, Topple destroyed the cage it was in, right?
Yes, Topple destroyed the cage, and he removed the miasma of darkness that was surrounding it.
Yeah, I would have put it in like I would have wrapped it in cloth, and then I assume like my bed's kind of like coming out of the wall. I would have put it down at the back, and then I would have put like something like my pink ink in the way.
Yeah, your pink lube.
Yeah, don't worry about it, guys.
All right, so so the chalice is not immediately obvious unless you start digging through things.
There's a cauldron, and then also I prepared a batch of it's like some sort of ale. That was one of the potions I grabbed, not potions, brews.
All right, cool. Yeah, so there's like a black stone cauldron. It appears to be made out of obsidian, roughly hewn, and inside is a still bubbling green liquid.
Is the cauldron over a fire currently?
Yes.
Like, is it being heated?
I think the cauldron like just magically works, so it might be over some sort of like a magical fire equivalent.
Yeah. So it's Caden's Brew is what's in there, which is a rich beer. I'm sorry, is like rich beer or ale with a golden brown color and foamy head. I could tell you what it does, but that's what it looks like.
Okay, and have you already like taken that out and bottled it, or is it in the cauldron?
I think it's in the cauldron.
Okay, so it's not a green bubbling liquid. It's a brown bubbling liquid. And it smells alcoholic and I assume pleasant. Like it's probably a sweet smell.
It's a nice sweet ale.
What about the bucket that Manawanui used to travel? Is that just sitting in the middle of the room?
Yes, the bucket is tipped over on the ground somewhere near-ish to Manawanui. The ship is obviously made to drain water off, so it's probably wet there, but a lot of the ship is, damp often. But it's probably obvious enough that like this bucket spilled.
Still doesn't seem suspicious in itself.
Yeah, because like she clearly fell, so it presumably just looks like when she fell, she tipped over the bucket. Which technically is exactly what happened. She fell headfirst into the bucket.
Everyone's had a night or two when they've been, getting a little too close to a bucket, and you just fall headfirst into it. It happens.
Yep.
That's why they call it tipsy.
Exactly.
Exactly. See, Mako knows what's up.
Right? Yeah, Manawanui was just there being an OG and, sipping some purple lean.
Yeah. Ladies, do you ever get too mezzed up and wind up bleeding from your eyes and chanting occult symbols backwards? No, just joking.
It happens. Don't worry about it. It's
Clearly happens to the best of us.
Exactly.
Well, the combination of the unholy energy and my still very, not very competent reading ability will stop me from opening the book just yet.
Oh, right, you can't even read, so why open the book?
Well, I can read a little, but I'm not confident that I would be able to interpret that book without Manawanui's help, and that is a problem.
Right.
Yeah. So two things. First of all, well, I guess you might not necessarily think of this, but there's no guarantee the book is written in the same language, and out of character, it's super not written in the same language.
It's super not.
What little you know wouldn't help you in the first place. Second of all, you don't even barely know to read. All you have figured out so far from reading the text that Manawanui gave you is you have started to figure out that some of the symbols repeat themselves in groups, and you think that might mean something.
Yeah, so not very helpful.
Right. Certainly, like your first instinct wouldn't be
But-
like, let me open this book.
Well, the book might have pictures. The book that Manoa Nui gave to Ip had pictures too, right? So, well, it's not even a book; it's a scroll. But anyway, all right. So you are not going to read the book, open the book. Are you going to rifle through any of Manoa Nui's other things?
Yeah, I don't really have any other options at this point. Nothing's really jumping out at me. So, is there anything behind the book stand? Is that where the shelves are?
That's a question for Manoa Nui.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you ask that again?
What's
getting his phone
behind
back on.
the book stand? I'm tempted to look around the book since I can't look in the book.
All right, so you come in. So when you enter the room, the bed and stuff is on the far right wall. The book itself is on a table that's like set off to the left of the book, and then the cauldron is like further closer to the door, so like in the middle but on the far left. So what was your question? I'm sorry.
So is there anything behind the book stand?
Like there's a stool. There's like probably some other parchment.
There's presumably
And, like,
you have some
writing
sort of
documents.
cabinets or shelves or something in there.
Oh, yeah. Like against the wall, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking in the cabinets, see if there's anything that looks helpful.
All right. Nothing looks helpful. There's a few potions. There's some more scrolls and books. Pretty much all of these are a lot less cursed and evil. So if you want to open them, they don't seem to be nearly as off-putting. And there's only 2 other books, both of which seem to be in, like, if you look at like the label on the front of the evil looking book, and then these 2 books, all 3 of them seem like they're not related. Like you can't even figure out how the lettering would be related. Some of them are more angular. One of them is really like flowy and smooth. And then another one is just a series of dots. So they're all different. Only 2 of them are bound books, and then the rest of them are scrolls or stacked parchment. And all of the scrolls and parchment, those seem to be consistent and use the same lettering as the one that you were given.
There's also like some other ones, but they'd be in a different spot. There would just be like recordings of like what certain ruins on Dino Island say.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because you had some rubbings and
Like,
things from Dino Island.
Yeah, exactly.
So I quickly realized that this is not helpful, and I don't really know enough about this stuff to even figure out if I were looking at something that would help. So I am going to instead just go to the bow of the boat and pray for Manoa Nui to the Great Mother. That's something that's in my wheelhouse.
Indeed. All right. Let's get. What did we have you roll last time when you prayed? Was it religion?
Religion.
All right. Go ahead and roll that.
Let's roll a different dice. I
Right,
already used up
hard.
my nat 20 on that one.
That's true.
Come on, boy, Pip. I believe
All
in
right,
you.
I got a 26.
All right. So you get a like reassuring feeling, kind of like a warm, reassuring feeling in your chest. But otherwise, there's no notable effect. But you definitely feel as though you have done something useful.
Well, that's good. So yeah, after that moderately successful prayer sesh, I'm gonna go talk to Mako at the helm, see if she needs some relief. So I head back to the helm, and I'm checking in to say, hey, you want me to take over steering and resume my watch? Like, do you want to go back to sleep, or how you doing?
So no one's watching Mano Anui right now?
Junior is.
Okay. I'm pretty amped up now. Feel like maybe I should just keep on steering. I don't know, what time is it? Like,
by now, so the first watch, I guess actually, since Mono was taking a double watch, it could have been anywhere from around, we'll say, 6 o'clock to 2-ish.
okay, so I really didn't get very much sleep, period.
Yeah, so we'll say it was within the first 4 hours. So it was around 10 o'clock when the screaming happened, and then it's probably been a couple hours since then. So it's midnight to 2 o'clock ish.
All right. Yeah, I guess I need to get some sleep. I can't stay up all night the way some of you other crew members can.
Yeah, so I'll finish out this watch shift and then wait for Burnbright to take over at the normal time.
I'm hesitant, though. I don't feel good about it. I'm nervous, and I haven't been on adventures or seen anybody like that before. So I'm going to bed, but you can tell I'm uneasy about it.
Yeah, very fair. All right. So other than that, the watch goes pretty calmly.
Other than that,
Yep. But,
Other than finding one of your crew members bleeding from the eyes unconscious
right.
with a very scary book.
and completely
100%.
unresponsive.
Yeah,
Look,
but
what
you're
would
not
Mama Nui say?
waylaid by
Don't worry
pirates.
about it.
No Kraken snatches you out of the air. Yeah, so then Burnbright will take his watch and relieve you, Jason. Mano Anui, you or not Mano Anui, Akalupu. You continue to watch Mano Anui until you fall asleep. I assume you probably just stay there, and eventually your tiredness gets the better of you. But yeah, as far as you can tell, no change on Mano Anui. Burnbright will take his watch. Jason, are you just headed back to sleep now, or are you gonna do anything
Yeah,
else?
it's sleepy time.
All right. If you are you gonna check on Dolphine when you head
Nope.
through, or just straight to bed?
Straight to bed. I didn't even get any sleep last night, so
All right.
Speaking of Dolphine, just as a spectator, what was she doing during all of this?
She definitely seemed concerned, but also felt like she was not she didn't want to get in the middle of anything.
I sent a very crude drawing, by the way, of how I envisioned the cabin looking.
Oh, nice.
If that's helpful.
Yeah, probably flatter in the front instead of being a
Yeah.
full oval, but otherwise, yeah, that's probably pretty accurate because
I drew it
your
all with,
captain's cabin is
purple.
basically right under where the steering wheel is.
Oh, sweet.
And then the mechanisms for the steering wheel, turning the rudder and stuff, would be running through the walls at the back, so the very north side of your cabin.
Oh, nice.
All right. So yeah, everyone is able to get what sleep they can. Though several of you definitely do not get a full night's sleep. I imagine Junior probably gets half a night's sleep. Mako, are you going to sleep in to make it to a full night's sleep, or are you going to wake up around your normal time?
I think I've got to wake up to my normal time. We're down a man, and somebody's got to drive the ship.
All right.
So I'm gonna wake up at my normal time, but I'm willing to take whatever like debuffs I need to, because it's just a shitty night, and everybody was tossing and turning and not doing well.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Hey, some of us slept like the dead, so
That's true. Some of you got plenty of sleep.
I'm sure that if and when you wake up, you'll feel like a rose. Just peachy keen.
100%. All right, so Mako and Hip, y'all probably wake up around roughly the same time-ish. It doesn't really matter who wakes up first. Whenever you guys do wake up, Dolphine is nowhere to be seen in the hammocks area. Junior, as you also wake up as the morning comes, and Monoanui is still unresponsive. No change, but still breathing, still seems to be alive, and yes, its blood is slowly continuing to leak out of her eyes.
That's bad. You need your blood. Like, you just have an endless supply of blood.
man.
That is very true. Now, it's not leaking very quickly. It's not like it's squirting out or anything, so it seems to be slow enough that you wouldn't be immediately concerned about her, dying from blood loss.
Okay.
It's like a slow seep.
Gross.
Yes, definitely gross.
So things are tense. But do we need to roll for me steering the ship during the day? We're gonna continue east, I guess, because we don't know what else to do.
All right, then yeah, let's go ahead and I will roll your navigation. Your sailing skill was a plus 13, right?
Let me just double check. Yes, it is plus 13. Oh, and do you have to re-roll our weather?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that in just a second. All right.
Okay.
So
okay.
you did make your
don't
full.
Tell me. Okay.
Well, what's your plan for the day? I guess we need to know weather first to see how far you can make it. So yeah, let's go ahead and roll that. So 1d100 for the change in weather. Whoever wants to roll that.
Oh, I'm on it. 7.
All right, a 7. Calmer wind, which there's already no wind, so the lack of wind continues, and then let's get a roll for one more 1d100 for wind direction.
I got an 11.
Nice. All right, that is slightly more favorable. So if the wind ever picks up, it will be completely favorable.
Man.
Yeah. So given that, if you want to do all night and all day once again, you can go 1 square. Otherwise, you can go half a square if you just sail during the day. The skies are nice and clear, so you will get plenty of energy from your sails.
Should we only sail during the day, guys? Because, I don't know, just last night was so weird. And maybe we should drop anchor tonight so everyone can get a full night's sleep kind of a thing. Try and spend some time figuring out what's going on with Monoanui, or should we just go as far and as fast as we can, hoping that maybe we run into some land eventually and maybe we can get help? I think those are kind of our 2 options, right?
I feel like I would just feel like we were wasting time if we dropped anchor for a whole night when we should be trying to get help.
As a quick question, Dolphine is gone, right?
No, we have not gone through the day yet. So at this point, we're still just figuring out the basic plan and like what's going on with the weather. But at this point, in like timeline wise, all that y'all know is that when Ip and Mako woke up, she was not in the general cabin. So she was not in her hammock.
Yeah, and I just would have headed to the helm. I'm distracted and I don't really give a fuck about her. So I wouldn't be like wasting time, spending time looking for her. I would head to the helm, check out the weather, relieve the guy who was on night watch, and get to work. So I think that this still makes sense as far as a timeline, and I agree with Jason, as long as Anna, you are on board with that we should just, go by kind of our captain's last orders, and we're just going to keep heading east and hope for the best all day and all night.
Yeah, I mean, like, Akalupu doesn't really care. He's still just, like, sitting by Manawinu waiting.
That makes sense. Yeah, you're like, whatever, I don't want to make this decision right now. Can you guys just handle it?
Yeah.
Very much like a lost puppy right now, just sitting
Aw.
there. waiting.
That's so sad. Okay, so that makes sense that it's pretty much me and Jason, because Burn Bright and Delphine are like stupid. So Jason and I agreed, Ip and Mako agreed that we're gonna try and go all day and all night. So I am going to move our token one full click. Oh, gotta hit Alt. One full click. There we go. To the east. And hope that is still true.
All right. And then your navigation check, you did notice that at some point, whether it was last night with no one driving the ship or what, you seem to have veered off further to the south than you thought.
Oh.
So at this point, you're pretty sure you are there.
That's helpful. Okay. I must have rolled well. That's good. We needed a freaking win at this point.
Yeah. And so when you do head out and go relieve Burn Bright and take the helm, that's where Delphine is. She was out with Burn Bright.
Okay.
But yeah, Burn Bright seems to be in good spirits, and as you approach, and the two of them are talking and laughing about some joke that someone told. But yeah, Burn Bright says, "Oh, thank goodness, man! My arms are so sore from holding this wheel all night. How do you do it?"
There's a clip back here. You just clipped it in.
Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Duh.
Your words, buddy.
Man, all right. Well, next time is going to be way better.
Yeah, go get some rest. It's been a crazy night.
Have we heard anything from Junior about Manoa Nui? She okay?
I'm assuming no news means no news. If something had changed, I'm thinking Junior would have alerted somebody.
No news means no news.
I can't. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Maybe you could go check on him before you go to bed, but I can't stomach it right now.
All right, yeah, I'll check on him before I start my daily chores, because he slept during the first watch.
Oh,
so
of course,
he
that
got
makes
some
sense.
sleep.
That makes sense.
Because he and Ip, I don't know if you necessarily know this, but out of character at least, Burn Bright and Ip both only need 4 hours of sleep instead of the usual 8.
Yes, yeah, that's why they agreed to be taking night shift. So I think that they would have told me that's common information at this point.
Yeah, they did. I feel like they definitely would have said, "Yeah, the Great Mother blessed us, and now we don't have to sleep nearly as much. It's awesome."
Yeah. So.
All right.
They have some abilities that some might consider unnatural.
Da da da. All right,
Well,
so
and still nobody knows that I can see through walls.
Correct. But that makes sense that you would keep that one like close to your chest, but like
Again, totally a spectator. But when he was searching the cabin, would he be able to like anything special?
I thought I could only see like living things through walls or movement.
So no, your powers did not seem to do anything, and they only seem to happen in darkness anyway when you're kind of like doing it on purpose. So it's not like like every waking day hour of you're like surrounded by blue ghostly outlines of things.
He's just looking at like skeletons. That's why he didn't think anything was odd about Mononoe's finger. He's like, yeah, it's just what I see anyway.
But no, yeah, that your ability to see in the dark and stuff seems to be something that you have to be somewhat intentional about. Like you have to be trying to use it, otherwise you just see normally.
Cool.
So unless you were specifically trying to use it, that would not have had an effect in you searching the room.
Nope, I was not trying.
All right. Delphine will try to smile at you, Mako. I imagine you just like glare back at her.
I want to say, what were you two laughing about?
He was telling this really funny joke about like a brontosaurus and an egg.
Yeah, sounds hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It cracks Abe up every time. Get it? Cracked him up. It's an egg.
Well, I'm glad that you two can find some joviality at this time. She's only half sarcastic.
All right, so they'll head off. Delphine is not interested in, aggravating
Hanging
you,
out with me alone. Yeah.
She'd be happy to hang out with you, but she's not interested in aggravating you, and you've made it pretty clear that you don't want her around, so she's not going to impose herself on you.
Aw, isn't she sweet?
All right, Mano Anui, go ahead and give me another will save.
Hold on. Oh, my dice. Oh no, I have to rely on the computer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh no.
Nat one. No, not. Hold on. Let me actually.
So you stop breathing and you're dead now.
So you die. Hello. Doop doop doop. There we go. 23. So like I think the exact same. No, I think I got one more. Because I got a 22 last time, so this time it's a 23.
Yeah. All right, so Junior, you, I assume, continue watching over Mano Anui throughout the day. Is that correct?
Yes, that is
All
correct.
You spoon feed her some soup at some point, and you're able to get it down. And Mano Anui, you start to get like very vague sensations. And Junior, if you want to, like, you notice Mano Anui is stirring slightly, almost more as if she were like fidgeting from a nightmare or something. But this is the first movement or anything you've seen from Mano Anui. This is new. Like, there's a little bit of movement and like maybe some slight like groaning or something.
I am going to yell for someone to get it.
All right. Well, the ship
I
is
was
small
already
enough
on my
you'll be
way
able to
down
hear
there.
it. All right. So you arrive quickly enough, and yeah, there's like some slight stirring from Mano Anui.
Can you tell it anything different? Has anything changed? Magically?
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any change other than what I've already described. If you talk though, so Abe, you are like hearing some things slightly. Like, you know, you're not fully understanding what's being said, and you know everything is kind of a wash of shadows and movement and strange things. So you definitely aren't like aware still of your surroundings at all. Not even aware enough to understand that you are, you know, asleep or unconscious or whatever. But if you want to give very simple responses, like 1 or 2 word responses, you can now respond to people if they speak nearby you.
I don't know what I'm gonna say. Like, I can recognize voices, I assume.
Maybe Junior's voice.
Okay.
Aw, because you guys have a special bond.
Indeed.
I'm just gonna say I'm going. Here.
What are we doing? I knew you were dead. Thank goodness you can't leave me like that.
I assume I can't really comprehend. Can I
No,
comprehend words?
no,
Okay,
not
so I just
really.
hear a voice.
Yeah, and you get like
Or
this
Junior's
vague
voice.
idea that it's Junior, that it's like someone you know who's important to you. But yeah, you're definitely not getting any real meaning through to you.
I'm just gonna Junior again.
All
I
right.
have no idea what you just said. You walked too far away.
No, I said I'm just gonna say Junior again.
Oh.
But you know, weak and feeble like.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go over and grab your hand and kind of put a wet cloth on your forehead and continue to feed you food.
All right. And wipe away the blood from his face or her face every so often.
Yes.
Well, it's good that she's saying words, but unless she can tell us something that can help her fix what's going on, it doesn't really change much.
I guess we just continue.
Darkness.
Did she say darkness?
Yeah, she says stuff like that a lot when she's sleeping. You just gotta get used to it after a while.
Just Akalupu wakes up in the middle of the night as Mono and he's like, I'll skin you alive!
That's what happens when you've lived for 200 years adventuring, changed genders, been to hell and back like 4 times.
Nah, she's not to that point yet. She's, what, 50 maybe?
Oh, you're right. You're right. I was just thinking she's like twice
I
as
have
old as
been
a
to
normal
hell.
person, but
Right, no, not
Yeah.
yet. Not yet. She'll get there as the generations go over, but right now she's like 50-ish, probably.
okay.
All right, so Jason, I imagine
I'm also
you've done what
For
you
Reginald.
call for Reginald. Reginald's probably there as well, hopping on your chest. All right. So you've done what you can, Jason. So I imagine you head back to your duties.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to cooking and see if Dolphine wants to help talk to her about the events of the night.
All right. As you are headed back, so you already asked Dolphine if she wanted help, and she was, excited to. And before you had left, she had continued to like ask questions about the fire that you used and how cooking worked. And of course, you don't understand half of it, so I don't know whether you admit that or if you just start making things up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend like I know more than I do, but not say like I'm not gonna make anything up. I'm just gonna say very simple stuff
Okay.
and act like it's complicated.
Nice. Yeah, and it easily works on her.
Like, how does fire work? Oh, well, it's hot.
You see, the spirit of fire is hot, and it's like volcanoes where it comes from under the ground, and, and she's like, oh, like the thermal vents in the ocean. Yeah. Anyway, so as you are coming back into the galley, though, you see her hunched, like kind of squatted down, hunched over the fire, like underneath the pot, and she's actually reaching out to the fire, like she's gonna grab it.
Don't touch the fire. That will hurt.
So you like she starts a little bit as you say that, but you're too late. Her hands are already in the fire. But she kind of just turns around. She says, "Really? It seems fine." And you see she's holding fire. Like she scooped it up and grabbed it like you would water or a bowl, like a physical object. She's somehow holding fire, not the wood, not anything burning, the fire itself. She is holding it in her hands. And
put that back. I have so many questions, but please don't burn the ship down.
Oh, sorry. She'll turn around and she'll put it down. It feels warm though, like you said, warm and comforting.
Fire is not warm. Fire is hot. Fire burns. This is not normal.
It didn't burn me. It's not normal?
No.
So you can't hold you if you touch the fire, it hurts you?
Yes. I cannot hold fire.
Are you sure? And she reaches down, grabs another handful of fire. Do you want to try?
I do not. I know from past experience that fire burns. This is not a special fire. There's something wrong with you.
Being so hurtful.
I'm going I'm like panicking. I've never seen anything like this before.
So yeah,
this is some kind of a miracle, I guess.
So she puts it back and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Don't be sorry. I mean, this is really cool, but now I'm wondering how much other stuff you can do that is miraculous.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the first time I've even seen fire, but something about it just draws me in. She kind of stares at the fire when she says that. It's almost mesmerizing.
So between you not being burned by fire and not needing to sleep, and yes, I did notice that you don't sleep.
No,
while the rest of us do need sleep.
Yeah, I thought you might have.
I mean, can you like breathe underwater? Can you fly?
Yes and no.
Wait, yes to the first one?
Yes.
Cool. Well, I guess it's not that cool. I could do the same thing. I just need an item to help me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what your captain, well, hopefully she's okay. I don't mean to bring that up at this point, but she was telling me about that.
Well, I wanted to ask you, do you think you could help her somehow? I've exhausted all of my resources there, but maybe your people know something about this?
I don't think so. Whatever is wrong with her, it seems to be mental. Physically, like you said, she seems fine. And I have some healing abilities, but it's physical healing.
Mental healing. If only we had a therapist on board.
I'm going to assume that was out of character because you wouldn't know what a therapist is. So she's not going to ask what a therapist is because she doesn't either.
Well, if you think of anything else that you could do that would be helpful, I mean, next time someone throws a fireball at me or something, I'll just ask you to catch it, I guess.
I'll try. I don't know. It's still strange. I don't fully understand the fire and how it works. I feel much more comfortable around water.
Well, for right now, just know that don't move the fire outside of where the fire goes.
Yes, you said fire eats wood, and we don't want it to eat the ship.
Exactly.
Yes, I'll be very careful with it.
You're a quick learner.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah, this is some wild stuff. I'm gonna contemplate and go back to my work for a little bit.
All right. So yeah, you guys continue cooking, unless you kick her out.
No.
All right. Yeah.
Now she's even more helpful to have around for cooking. She doesn't need any protection. She could just, touch the hot pots.
That's true. And throughout the rest of the evening, you see her like kind of fidgeting around, kind of like with her hands at random times. Do you ask her what she's doing, or just kind of ignore that?
Oh no, I'm asking. Now I'm very interested in everything about Dolphine.
So she's like, I feel like if I can just figure it out, I could maybe. And she like snaps her fingers, and a flame comes out of the tip of one of her fingers. She's like, there.
Shut up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, see,
Praise the great mother.
I think I can maybe just do that. And she messes around making more flames, but very careful. She's very she's careful in one of those ways where she's like being obvious. She's obviously trying to make it clear to you that she's being careful with the flames.
This is going to come in handy.
One
Well, I
point
mean,
in
it's
the ship.
already coming in handy. I never have to make another damn fire again.
That's true, because basically, given your level of technology, the way you make fire is like bow and arrow. I don't think you don't have steel to do flint and steel yet. You might have found some rocks that spark, but they're not going to be very consistent. So mostly what you would do to make fire is you would just basically store the coals in such a way that they'll smolder overnight, and then fuel them back up again in the morning. And if it ever goes out, that's like 2 hours of your day just getting the fire back.
Life sucks.
So yeah, definitely this is much more convenient than that.
You make water out of nothing too?
Yeah, that's easy. And she just kind of like waves her hand, and a little like splash comes from it.
Whoa. Wait. Can everybody where you're from do all this?
No.
It's just you?
I don't know if it's just me. I'm the only one I know of, though.
Does anyone else know that you could do all this?
Some people did. My mother, my father before he died, some friends.
What did they think?
Well, my father said that I had a gift from the ocean. Of course, the fire is new. I've never even seen fire before.
never seen fire and yet has the ability to create it from nothing.
I know,
That
isn't
is a
that
gift.
exciting?
Well, where we're going, there's probably going to be a lot of fire and ice, and you can cast water to help with the fire, and you can cast fire to help with the ice.
Oh, I can do
I
more
think-
than that. And she strikes a pose, kind of like a Tai Chi pose, and you see this aura enveloping around like a 10-foot space around her. And it looks as if a wave had crashed into a rock behind her and then frozen still like gemstones glittering in the sunlight. And this aura of water kind of just shimmers and floats around her. And she says, I can protect people from the elements if they are within my aura.
Amazing.
So out
We
of
just became
character,
best friends.
out of character, Delphine is a new class that you guys haven't seen yet. She's a kineticist. So she's basically like a bender from the Avatar series.
Cool.
nice.
And
So
she
she's
Bends
Avatar.
all the elements.
so she doesn't
She's
bend
the
all the
Avatar.
elements. That is an option. You can build it that way. But no, she only has fire and water.
Cool.
And that's my plan, is to keep it that way unless something in the story would push it a different direction.
Can you say again what the word is that you said what her new class is?
A kineticist?
Okay.
Is this in the new Pathfinder rule set, or is this?
Where
Where did this come from?
It's not. I mean, it's a new class that they released in. I forget what the name of the book was, but it's one of their new classes. But no, it's not specifically a second edition revamped or whatever they're calling the rework of the rules.
Gotcha.
It's just from being a new class that they've released.
Well, this is awesome. This is going to super come in handy. We should tell the rest of the crew about your abilities, because I think that they're gonna think this is awesome.
Okay. So you guys got on the deck. Are you just like trying to call a meeting and get everyone together? What's the plan?
I think we'll probably bring it up at mealtime.
That's a good plan.
Although we don't all eat together, so maybe not the best plan.
Yeah, I think that you would have to like make a situation, like make it happen if you want us to all be together.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna call a meeting. I don't know. Is there like a bell or something?
There isn't a bell, but the ship is small enough that if you yell, everyone can hear you.
All right, all hands on deck.
And well, yeah, I'm gonna stay at the helm.
Yeah, I assume you went up by the helm, or at least within
Right.
view of the helm. Like you can see, like the helm, like I said, the wheel is right above Manawanui's captain's cabin, so you would be able to, from the wheel, easily see the deck right kind of in front of that.
All right, guys. Some crazy news. I was cooking and I was struggling with some fire. Well, I wasn't struggling with fire. I never struggle with fire. I know all about fire.
Never struggle with
But-
anything.
Delphine here surprised me by reaching into the fire, and we discovered that Delphine actually has the ability to create and manipulate fire at will, in addition to her ability to do that with water.
So she's
And
gonna show off. She's gonna like similarly again. She's gonna strike the pose, same look of that aura of like a frozen wave, and then she's gonna create a couple of orbs of water and a couple orbs of fire, and kind of move them in a circular fashion like she's juggling, but without touching them.
Cool, right?
Right?
I'm just in shock. Like,
Burn the witch.
Burn the witch. Except that clearly the fire doesn't work on her because she was just holding it. So
that's how you know she's a witch, is if she survives the witch burning.
she actually would survive both being burned at the stake or dumped in the pond, which are like the two things they do to check for witches. So accurate.
Exactly.
Hey, all I'm saying is Mono would survive neither of those. So who's the real threat here?
But anyway, this will be an invaluable resource when we do reach the Isle of Ice and Fire, since fire counters ice and water counters fire.
I guess that's true.
Are you saying you want me to come with you all the way to the Isle of Ice and Fire? I thought you wanted me off the ship.
Well, I think that has changed, although I don't have complete authority, so until Manawanui, our captain, wakes up, it really is just a suggestion. But I personally would love it if you would accompany us on our mission.
So she looks like visibly surprised, like she was definitely not expecting this, and kind of furrows her brow a bit and is like, well, you'll have to give me some time to think about it, though. That's incredibly kind of you. I'll at least need to speak to my family.
I don't know if it is kind of you, Jason. You just offered to kidnap her.
Well, I offered to let her join the crew. I'm not saying that she doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
You are coming to the Isle of Ice and Fire.
Well, yeah, I guess take whatever time you need to think about it. I haven't even talked to the rest of the crew about this, but how are you going to talk to your parents if we can't go to where you live?
I can go there. I thought that was still the plan. She looks slightly panicked at the idea that that's not still the plan.
Okay, I guess you're just gonna go when we get close?
Yeah, I'll know when we get close.
I'm gonna try and diffuse the situation and be like, I think what Ip was saying is we just don't know, since we don't know where your island is, we don't know if we're going to arrive at your island or the Isle of Ice and Fire.
Oh,
is that fair to say?
I understand.
Thanks, Mark.
and if we come to the Isle of Ice and Fire before we come to your island, place where you live, it does seem like you would be a great asset to us, and we would love to have your help, but obviously that choice is up to you.
So she goes up, she's like, oh, you said something nice, and she's gonna hug you.
I'm just gonna stiff arm it, because also, you know how, I'm a teenager, and Delphine's super, super hot.
Fair.
That's part of the reason I'm being so mean to her.
Fair. All right, so I'll rephrase it. She tries to hug you.
No, absolutely. She can hug me. I'm just too freaking blushing to hug her back.
It's like anytime someone hugs me, I'm just like, pat.
Totally. Everyone picture that.
There we go. All right. Okay, so anything else people want to do during the day?
I want to cast a magical spell that calls the Kraken.
All right, you do that, and you find yourself being dragged under the water into inky blackness. The pressures surrounding you, cutting off your ability to even move your chest, let alone try to breathe. And it is a thoroughly unpleasant experience on top of the nightmares you're already having.
Nice. Hey, pain builds the soul, y'all.
Just having a
Exactly.
stellar week.
All right, so we'll go ahead and do the night. Jason, you were taking first watch this time?
Yes.
Sweet. All right.
Now that
So-
we don't have Mono Anui to trade off with, I think it's just me and Burn Braid every night.
Yeah. So Dolphins actually asks to join you and says that perhaps you could work on that book that you've been trying to read.
Oh, great idea.
So yeah, you go up. You, unlike Burn Bright, are aware of the clip for the wheel, because that is very much a thing. Basically, ships like that would have a loop that you would kind of like loop around one of the spokes and then tighten down, and it would hold the wheel in place. That was very much a real thing.
I thought so.
Burn Bright's just dumb.
I was like, I've read enough nautical fiction to know you don't have to actually hold the wheel the whole time.
Yeah. No, Burn Bright is like, he's one of those idiot geniuses because he's an inventor. Like, he can put together a wacky device that none of you would understand or even be able to come close to doing. He can craft the heck out of an item, but he's not the brightest. But yeah, so you two kind of post up at the wheel, and you use your magic for light and start working on the book. And go ahead and give me an intelligence check. I'll roll one for Dolphine.
Intelligence, huh?
Yeah, unless you have a skill that you think would be more applicable.
I don't.
Would Boneyard lore?
No.
I got a 20.
Nice. All right. And Dolphin got a 19. So you guys actually start making some legitimate progress, especially with two of you working together on it. And one thing you notice that's a little interesting as you're working through it is that Dolphin, every, half hour, like, it's not like on the dot or anything, but every so often, she kind of seems to switch back and forth between two different ways of trying to look at things. Sometimes she is looking at the text from this very analytical point of view, where she is, looking at details and patterns, and then every once in a while she'll kind of like switch and she'll start looking from a much more creative, almost artistic point of view, where she's focused much more on the pictures that go along with it and the emotion of what's happening. And it's actually really helpful, this kind of like looking at it from multiple perspectives and the way you can kind of bounce off of it.
Fire and water.
But you do notice that, like, whenever she gets into one mode or the other, she kind of is like stuck there. Like, if you start trying to bring up the more analytical things when she's looking at it from a more creative lens, she doesn't go back to like that creative side. She kind of looks at whatever you brought up, but from that analytical side still, right? So it seems like kind of like a switch almost back and forth between these two ways of looking at it. And when you've interacted with her during the day, it doesn't feel like that. So it feels a little different interacting with her like this at night. But at one point, after reading for quite a while, and like I said, you're actually making legitimate progress. Like, you had already figured out that there are these patterns of groups of symbols that maybe mean something, and the two of you have started to put together like words and some guesses on what those words might be, and like a little bit of even trying to figure out the grammar and structure of these sentences and how they work. So you make really good progress. But eventually, kind of later in the night, getting toward the end of your shift, you decide to take a break. And Midnight, being a nocturnal creature, kind of comes up and rubs against you, Ip, and then settles down in your lap. I imagine you give him a little pet.
Yes, of course.
And Dolphine, she's never seen a cat before. She's already said that, so you've already answered the questions of like, what is this creature? But she pets it a little bit, and she's like, it really is nice having a little pet like this around. I actually have a pet too. Would you like to meet Bubbles?
Yeah.
All right, give me a second. She kind of, skips off quietly but quickly back down to the cabin where the hammocks are, and she returns with the conch shell that she took with her from the island where you found her. Or I guess not an island really, but the rock where you found her. And she says, "Come on, Bubbles, come out." And a little creature. Oh, actually, I don't think I've ever properly shown them. Let me show you guys Dolphine, because she has artwork now.
Ooh.
I meant to do this way earlier, but like totally spaced it. All right, so here is Dolphine. Give it a second to upload.
Oh, her eyes.
Yeah, obviously
Okay.
AI generated. But yeah, very like green hair, piercing blue eyes. You can see the necklace that she also took from the rock with her, that she's wearing. So that's
Nice.
Dolphine. And then coming out of the conch shell is this creature.
That's so cute.
Bubbles. It's
Yeah.
like Aqua Midnight.
Yeah, so it's like Mort from Treasure Planet, or Morph, not Mort, except green, but the similar kind of thing where it's like floating, bubbly, liquidy creature. And it also interacts in the same way. So it kind of comes out and looks around curiously and then spots you. And Dolphine says, "Don't worry, he's a friend." And so he kind of comes up to you and then kind of like nips at your hair and flips it around, and then comes over and then licks you on the face and then skitters off and hides behind something to see what your reaction will be.
He's cute.
So it peeks around, and when you look, you don't look upset. It kind of floats back over. And seeing you petting Midnight, it seems to get jealous, and it also kind of like settles down into your lap and looks up at you expectantly.
Okay, I try and pet him.
All right. So it's a very interesting feeling. It is room temperature, wet, but the wetness doesn't get on you. It's like, petting some sort of like slimy creature, except nothing, like none of it gets off on your hands. It stays together. So it's
Like
this very
super cohesive jello.
Yeah, exactly. It's this like impossibly smooth feeling as you pet across it. And he's vibrating slightly as it's, doing some sort of like burbling, almost purr kind of thing.
Oh, he likes it.
Yeah, I think Bubbles likes you.
It feels weird. It's not like petting Midnight.
Yeah, Bubbles is definitely very different. I don't
How
think
long
I've
have you known Bubbles?
Well, not very long, a few years. He well, I think I made him when I first got my powers.
Whoa.
Casual Elsa from Frozen moment. Like, yeah, I have elemental powers, and also I can create life.
Ba, ba, ba.
Well, I can't wait to hang out with Bubbles some more.
Yeah. Bubbles seems to be able to understand what you say, so Bubbles actually reacts to that and kind of like purrs and like and then reaches over and like he kind of like splooshes out. He kind of like flattens himself, scoots out from underneath your hand, comes over, and he starts petting your head.
Like kind of like swat his hand. Well, does he have hands? Is it just like
Yeah, he seems to be able to shape little like appendages and stuff out of his form. So like he's mostly an amorphous blob, but he seems to be able to shape himself. So like, yeah, he probably does make like a little hand shape and pet you with it.
I'm gonna brush his hand off of my head. Not like aggressively, but
Yeah.
also not gently.
Yeah, so it laughs, kind of like a high pitched little chuckle, and then floats off and hides in like a pile of ropes or something.
Well, looks like we've got 2 pets on our crew now.
Yeah, I hope Bubbles won't cause too much trouble. He can be a bit of a prankster, kind of like that Gur. And Gur is like, I heard my name, and throws something off of the boat. And you're like, I forgot he was here.
He's been quiet. He's been quietly seeding chaos.
Yes, that is legitimately what he's been doing this entire time.
Gur and Reginald just like having their moment this episode.
Exactly. All right. Unless there is anything else you want to do on your watch, we'll go ahead and wrap that up.
All good.
Sweet. Yeah, so
I'm realizing now how difficult it would be to learn to read without knowing like the alphabet and the sounds.
Yep. Or even
just
knowing or even understanding other alphabets. Like just understanding reading one language gives you an idea of like potentially how other languages might work. You don't even have that basis.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a challenging task you've put ahead of yourself. But yeah, so Burn Bright relieves you, takes his watch. The watch goes pretty smoothly. Let's go ahead and get another will save from Manawa Nui.
Alrighty. Whoops, wrong tab. There we go. Will. 18.
All right. So you're there is no signs to everyone else particularly, but you feel like again, you don't like you're not able to actually understand any of this because you're unconscious. If you understood what was going on, you would just wake up. It's not like you're, locked in syndrome where you're just like fully aware but unable to move. You are legitimately unconscious.
For the better. For the better.
Probably, but the like haze and the shadowy dreams and nightmares feel as though they are lifting slightly. Like things are improving.
Nice.
And let's go ahead and I guess we could roll for weather, but we'll just save that for next time because we've been going about 2 hours. So unless there's anything else anyone wants to do before the next morning, we will go ahead and wrap up here.
I want Manawa Nui to wake up.
Like she's getting close. You don't know that, but Manawa Nui is recovering steadily. Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap up then, and we'll do it as always. And we'll start with Ip. What has Ip learned?
Ip learned that Dolphine is secretly a badass.
You know, when you found her, I pointed out that she was unarmed, but turns out she doesn't need to be armed. Alrighty.
Yep.
And what about Mako? What has Mako learned?
That sometimes people hug you and then you can't stop thinking about it. And that's fine. It's normal. And it doesn't mean anything.
Definitely no. I'm gonna get the wrong person. Taylor Swift song? Is that the Kissed a Girl and I Liked It?
Oh, Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. So there's like a little Katy Perry quietly in the background now. All right. What about Junior? What has Junior learned?
Junior learned that as much as he likes to pretend that he just wants to get away from Manawa Nui, he does actually care about Manawa Nui and misses Manawa Nui when they're not around.
True that. Stockholm
was so
syndrome is
touching.
real.
A much it was choking me up this session.
Yeah, it was actually, I thought that interaction was really good. So great role play, everyone.
Well played, you two.
And then I figured I would save this one to last for obvious reasons. What about Mono Inui? What has Mono Inui learned?
I don't know if Mono Inui knows what she's learned yet. She's learned something, but she's
Mono Inui does not know what she's learned yet. And might be better if she doesn't ever fully realizing what she learned, considering how that went.
Hopefully she learns that listening to evil benefactors' malicious, sinister suggestions for a peek into their lives is probably a bad idea.
Maybe. We don't know yet. It might be.
True that.
It'll be worth it.
Alrighty, well, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you all had a good time. I know I did, and I will see you all at the next game. Bye.